The great station of Lyrash Prime floated like a silver ring around a quiet blue star. Its glowing corridors were always full of different species. Tall, short, winged, scaled, soft-skinned, feathered. Yet the humans still stood out. Maybe it was their confident steps, maybe their expressive faces, or maybe it was the simple fact that humans always talked loudly, laughed loudly, and argued loudly. Whatever the reason, the aliens watched them with open curiosity. Today, curiosity reached a new level. A cultural exchange session had been scheduled between the Terran Embassy and the Lyrash Xenobiology Institute, a group famous for their deep interest in every living creature they encountered. The three visiting scientists were all from the Avaran species, a tall and elegant race with shimmering hair and eyes like polished crystals. Their appearance often made humans stare. They looked almost like living sculptures. The lead researcher, Dr. Valari, carried a tablet full of human biological data. Her two colleagues, Dr. Senra and Dr. Ilesi, followed behind her with excitement that made their long silver robes drift like ripples in water. The humans had already taken their seats: Captain Rafael Morales, diplomat Lena Park, and xenobiologist Dr. Jonah Miles. Around them sat a small crowd of soldiers, engineers, and cultural officers. They were expecting questions about human DNA, maybe about immune systems, maybe even about Earth's strange animals. But no one expected this. Dr. Valari approached the podium. She cleared her throat. A soft, chiming sound, as Avaran throats were built differently. The humans all leaned forward politely. "Thank you for joining us," Morales said with a diplomatic smile. "We hope this session strengthens the friendship between our people." Dr. Valari nodded. Yes, we look forward to learning much. Now, if we may begin..." She tapped her tablet, and a large hologram appeared behind her, the general diagram of human reproduction. Nothing detailed, nothing inappropriate, just biological outlines, standard educational material. But the moment the hologram appeared, the Avaran scientists froze. Dr. Senra's glowing yellow eyes widened. Dr. Ilesi whispered something in her own language, and then Dr. Valari stepped forward, her tone shocked, almost breathless. "Humans really do that to reproduce?" Every human in the room stiffened. Morales blinked. "Excuse me?" Dr. Valari gestured helplessly at the hologram. "These interactions, these exchanges, they are so personal, so inefficient, so emotionally risky. Can your species truly function like this? Are you certain this is not symbolic imagery?" Dr. Miles rubbed the back of his neck. "No, that's accurate biology." The Avaran scientists stared at the humans as if humanity had just confessed to recreating volcanoes inside their kitchens for fun. And then the moment that truly froze the room arrived. Dr. Valari, overwhelmed with scientific excitement, leaned forward and asked loudly, "Can I try?" The humans nearly choked on air. Morales was the first to find his voice, though it came out a bit strangled. "Doctor, what exactly do you mean by try?" Valari lifted her data tablet. "A practical demonstration, of course, or a simulation. I must understand how such a method evolved and how it supports genetic stability. Please allow me to participate." Dead silence. A soldier sitting in the back dropped his pen. Someone coughed. Someone else muttered, "Nope." Diplomat Lena Park quickly stood, hands raised. "Dr. Valari, I think there's a misunderstanding. Humans don't casually perform reproduction. It's not something we do on request. It requires consent, personal meaning, and usually an emotional bond." "Emotional bond?" Senra repeated, astonished. "You connect feelings to a biological mechanism?" "Yes," Lena said patiently. "Most humans do." Ilesi typed rapidly into her tablet. "Fascinating. Your species attaches psychological layers to physical processes. This is extremely complex. We must study it. Morales cleared his throat again, managing to sound diplomatic despite the absurdity of the situation. Perhaps we should start with simpler cultural questions. But Dr. Valari was not ready to let the topic go. Humans are incredibly complicated, she said, almost admiringly. Your reproduction requires trust, communication, vulnerability, emotional stability, and multiple social rituals. Our species simply exchanges genetic material in controlled laboratory environments. No risk, no emotion, no bonding, just efficiency. That sounds very different, Dr. Miles said carefully. Exactly, Valari replied. That is why I must understand yours. I have never encountered a species that ties such a critical biological function to deep emotional connection. This could explain your extreme survival instincts. Morales frowned. Survival instincts? Yes, Ilesi said. Your species forms long-term partnerships and familial units. These units strengthen cooperation and improve survival rates. Your bonding rituals, pairing, protecting young, forming households, are unique. They produce a psychological structure we do not possess. So you're saying love gives humans an evolutionary advantage? Lena asked, half joking. All available data suggests this, Ilesi answered seriously. It increases social stability, promotes teamwork, and decreases self-destructive behavior. Captain Morales sat back slowly. He had heard many strange compliments about humanity, resilience, adaptability, stubbornness, but love as a strategic advantage was a new concept. Dr. Valari took a step closer. Her voice softened, as if she were addressing a rare and beautiful creature. Humans are extraordinary. Your ability to form bonds is powerful. We envy this in many ways. Some of the humans shifted, embarrassed. Others straightened with pride. But then the scientists' confusion returned. Dr. Senra gestured to the holographic diagram. This still leaves the question, how does your species decide when to reproduce? These diagrams look incredibly complicated. Surely such an act is not spontaneous. No, Dr. Miles said, chuckling nervously. It's not random. Humans plan families or sometimes don't plan them, but we don't just do this on cue. To be clear, Morales added firmly, assisting in human reproduction is not something we can provide for scientific demonstration. Dr. Valari nodded, finally beginning to understand. Yes, I see. You require cultural context, emotional connection, mutual agreement. This is far beyond a simple biological function. The humans breathed a collective sigh of relief, but then the Averan scientists began typing rapidly once again. New hypothesis, Valari said. Human reproduction may be linked not only to genetic continuation but also to social strengthening. Perhaps these emotional bonds are the foundation of your species' unusual adaptability. Morales leaned forward, surprised. How so? Your species forms alliances faster than any we have documented, Ilesi explained. You create friendships with strangers, you cooperate with unrelated individuals, and you maintain emotional ties even across planets. That is not typical among advanced species, Senra added. Most races rely on logical cooperation. You rely on trust, belief, emotional commitment. Morales exchanged a glance with Lena Park. It was strange hearing this summarized so clinically, yet it was undeniably flattering. So, Morales said slowly, you're saying that because humans care about each other, we survive better? Dr. Valari smiled, a soft, shimmering smile that made her crystalline eyes glow brighter. Exactly. You are the only species we have encountered that treats emotional bonds as essential biological tools. You may not realize this, but it is your greatest strength. The humans fell quiet. For a long moment, the room felt different, heavier, but in a good way, as if someone had revealed a secret about humanity that humans themselves rarely noticed. But then Valari tapped her tablet again. Still, she said thoughtfully, we must study these emotional bonds more closely. It appears they are not optional. They shape your identity, your decisions, your families, and your societies. If we understand these bonds, we will understand humans. Morales nodded. We can arrange cultural interviews, emotional studies, family structure presentations, anything within reason. Valari gave another gentle nod. Good. And please do not worry. I now understand that reproduction is not something to be attempted casually. Dr. Miles coughed out a laugh. Thank you. The Averin scientists bowed respectfully. Then let this be the beginning, Valari said, of a deeper understanding between our species. And despite the awkward start, every human in the room sensed that something important had just begun. A study not just of biology, but of what made humans human. A study that might change everything. The next morning on Lyrash Prime, the humans woke to find their embassy inbox full, absolutely overflowing, with polite but extremely urgent requests from the Averin Xenobiology Institute. The aliens wanted interviews, observations, meetings, emotional case studies, and something called bond mapping sessions. The humans had no idea what that even meant. Captain Rafael Morales stood in the briefing room reading through the list while rubbing his forehead. They sent 15 requests, he muttered. 15, and some of them start with the words immediate, critical, and required for scientific evolution. Lena Park leaned over his shoulder to read. They want to watch humans interact while eating snacks? That's not the weird part, Morales said. They also want to attend a family-style gathering, and they want wedding ritual samples. What even is a wedding ritual sample? Dr. Jonah Miles raised a hand. To be fair, they misunderstood everything yesterday. They're excited, they're researchers. This is normal for them, just not for us. Lena laughed lightly. Well, at least they didn't ask for a reproduction demonstration again. Morales almost choked. Don't even joke about that. But jokes aside, the humans had to prepare. The Averin scientists were brilliant and respectful, just extremely curious. And after yesterday's cultural disaster, it was better to guide them carefully. Morales called a small meeting with his staff. All right, team. Today we start explaining human emotional bonding properly. That means simple examples, nothing confusing. Nothing they can misunderstand. Everyone nodded. Everyone looked nervous. A lab full of crystal-eyed curiosity. The Averin research wing was beautiful, smooth and bright, like the inside of a pearl. The scientists waited inside with glowing eyes, ready with data pads, cameras, and a strange spherical machine that hummed softly. What is that? Morales whispered to Dr. Miles as they entered. Miles stared at the orb. I think it's a mood scanner. If that thing tries to read my mood, Morales muttered, it'll explode. Dr. Valari greeted them warmly. Welcome, honored humans. We have prepared observation programs for today. Please take a seat. The humans sat on sleek silver chairs. The scientists stood across from them in silence. Too much silence. Deep, studying silence. Morales shifted. Is something wrong? Valari blinked her crystal blue eyes. We are observing how humans behave in neutral emotional states before we introduce stimuli. Lena whispered, Stimuli? What are we? Lab mice? Senra raised a hand. If possible, please show us an example of typical friendly human interaction. Lena looked at Morales. Morales looked at Miles. They all looked equally confused. What do they want? Miles whispered. Just be normal, Morales said. So Lena smiled politely at Jonah and asked, Good morning, Dr. Miles. Did you sleep well? Miles nodded. Pretty well, thank you. The gravity on this station is nicer than Earth gravity. The Avarin scientists gasped dramatically and took notes at lightning speed. Valari pointed. There! The way you smiled. The gesture. The soft tone. That is a friendly exchange, yes? Morales cleared his throat. Yes. That's normal human behavior. Senra scribbled a note. Humans use positive expressions to maintain group stability. This matches earlier theories. Ilacy touched the humming orb. It flashed blue. This device reads the emotional atmosphere of the room. Human friendliness increases cohesion energy. Morales frowned. Cohesion? Energy? Valari nodded. Your emotions impact your surroundings. We never noticed this in our own species. You affect each other biologically and psychologically. Lena whispered, We really are aliens to them. The strange misunderstanding of weddings. After observing small talk, the scientists switched topics. Now, Valari said, please explain the concept of the human ritual called wedding. Our preliminary information was confusing. Miles sighed. He knew this would be messy. Well, he began, a wedding is when two humans choose to form a long-term partnership. Ah, Ilacy said, sounding relieved. Yes, a binding contract ceremony. Lena shook her head. Not exactly. It's emotional, too. It's a celebration. People dance, eat, invite family. Senra squinted. Dancing? Why dancing? Morales chuckled awkwardly. Because it's fun, and it expresses joy. Senra typed rapidly. Humans display joy physically. Fascinating. And it's not a government demand or a territorial claim, Miles added. Yesterday you seemed to think it was. Valari looked embarrassed. Yes, that was our error. We assumed a wedding was a strategic alliance ritual. Well, sometimes it is, Lena admitted. But mostly humans do it because they care for each other. The orb flashed bright blue again. The aliens gasped. The atmosphere changes when you speak of this topic, Ilacy said. Humans attach strong energy to the idea of emotional partnership. Miles raised a brow. That's just feeling sentimental. No, Valari said, tapping her tablet. It is measurable. Humans are psychologically bonded creatures. This explains your survival strength. Morales frowned. Our survival strength? Indeed, Senra said. Your emotional bonds create motivation. Motivation creates resilience. Resilience creates survival. The humans stared at the aliens. For the first time in a long time, humanity looked special, even powerful, in a way they had never considered. Team building, human style. Next, the scientists requested to see group bonding. Morales decided to use something simple. We'll do a trust exercise, he said. The researchers watched as the humans demonstrated. Lena fell backwards. Miles caught her. Miles let himself fall. Morales caught him. Morales fell. Lena stumbled but caught him safely. The Avarin scientists took furious notes. Humans willingly fall toward danger and expect others to protect them, Valari whispered. Incredible. It builds trust, Lena explained, dusting her hands. Trust, Ilacy repeated, as if learning a new sacred word. This is something our species struggles with. We saw that on your station, Morales said gently. Your teams are efficient, but distant? Yes, Valari admitted. We rarely form emotional attachments. Our evolutionary history removed that trait. Maybe that's why human friendships seem strange to you, Miles added. We rely on them. Senra looked down at her datapad. Humans survive because they do not survive alone. Morales felt a quiet pride warm his chest. A surprising emotional experiment. At the end of the session, Ilacy rolled the humming orb into the center of the room. We want to test something, she said. We will monitor human emotions and compare them with ours. Morales nodded. As long as it's safe. It's completely safe, Valari assured them. Please answer a few simple questions. The orb glowed gently as Valari asked, "What does home mean to you?" Lena answered first. "People, safety, a place where you're understood." The orb glowed bright gold. The aliens murmured excitedly. "Next, what gives humans strength when facing danger?" Miles answered. "Knowing someone cares whether we survive." The orb glowed brighter. "Last, why do humans form bonds with others?" Morales paused, thinking. "Because we're stronger together than alone," he said softly. "Because life is difficult. Because helping each other makes life worth living." The orb burst into shimmering white light. The alien stepped back in awe. "It responds to your emotional truth," Elacey whispered. "Your bonds are real, tangible, something almost physical." Morales blinked. "Wait, are you saying emotions have physical signatures?" "In your species, they do," Valari said. "This explains your unpredictable power. Humanity's unity creates invisible strength." The room fell silent. For the first time, the humans fully understood why the Averin were so fascinated. This wasn't just curiosity. This was discovery, a new field of science, a field that humans unknowingly embodied. The Alien Council reacts. By evening, the humans return to their embassy, tired but proud. Meanwhile, the Averin scientists presented their findings to their council. The shimmering council chamber filled with scientists, leaders, and advisors. Valari spoke clearly. Humans are not dangerous because of their weapons. They are dangerous because they care. Their emotional bonds grant them adaptability and unity unmatched in any known species. A quiet murmur filled the chamber. "If humanity chooses alliance," Valari continued, "they will become powerful friends. But if they choose conflict, they will be impossible to break." The council members looked at each other. "This changes everything," one said. "Human emotional strength must be studied further," another agreed. "Should we involve the diplomatic branches?" "Yes," Valari said softly. "This may change interstellar politics forever." The beginning of something bigger. Back at the embassy, Morales sat alone for a moment, thinking. The aliens didn't fear human violence. They feared human connection. And somehow, that made perfect sense. Humans had always been stubborn survivors, but now, for the first time, an advanced species saw humanity's heart as their greatest weapon. Morales smiled slowly. Maybe it was. And tomorrow, Part 3 of the investigation would begin. The next day began with a strange quiet across Lyrash Prime. Usually, the alien station hummed with constant movement, glowing transports, drifting robots, and the soft metallic voices of Averin workers. But today felt different. It felt like the entire station had taken a deep breath. Inside the Terran embassy, Captain Rafael Morales and his team prepared themselves for another long day. They all knew the Averin scientists were planning something bigger than yesterday, bigger than interviews, bigger than mood orb readings. Morales checked his datapad. "They want us in their large simulation wing today," he said. Lena Park raised an eyebrow. "Simulation? Like a holodeck?" "Basically," Morales sighed. "They want to model human bonding." Dr. Jonah Miles frowned. "Model it how?" Morales shook his head. "That's what scares me." Still, they gathered their things and made their way to the Averin Research Complex. As they entered the wide circular chamber, they saw multiple scientists waiting, including the three leads, Dr. Valari, Dr. Senra, and Dr. Elacey. The chamber itself was enormous. A smooth, bright white floor, walls lined with glowing technology, and a circular platform in the center with a halo of blue light floating above it. Morales whispered, "Okay, this definitely looks like trouble." Valari stepped forward. "Welcome, friends. Today we will test the emotional frameworks you described yesterday." Morales tried to smile politely. We're happy to participate, within reason. Of course, Valari said, bowing her head. Everything today is safe, non-physical, and fully simulated. Only emotional patterns will be measured. Lena tapped her foot nervously. So what exactly do we do? Senra held up her tablet. We recreated 3 different bonding scenarios based on human culture: cooperation, trust, and storytelling. Miles brightened. Storytelling? Yes, Alessi said. Humans bond through shared stories. It strengthens group identity. Morales blinked. You researched that overnight? Valari answered calmly. We researched it for the last 6 hours. 6 hours? Lena said, stunned. That's not enough time. We processed 2 million data points, Valari added. Morales muttered under his breath. Never mind. They're aliens. Simulation 1. The Challenge Room. The scientists guided the humans onto the central platform. The blue halo above them began to spin, and the entire room transformed into a virtual environment, smoothly, quietly, like a dream forming around them. One moment, they were in a lab. The next, they were standing on a rocky cliff with a thick fog below. What is this? Lena asked, stepping carefully. A cooperative challenge, Valari's voice echoed. You must work together to cross to the other side. A rope bridge appeared, old and weak, the kind that creaked at the slightest touch. Morales groaned. Great. A classic. Miles pointed. Look, sections of the bridge are unstable. We'll need to test the ropes before walking. The Averan scientists watched from outside the simulation, monitoring emotional waves and decision patterns. As the humans moved forward, the bridge swayed violently. Lena grabbed Miles's arm. Morales helped stabilize one of the ropes. Every movement required trust and timing. At one point, a plank broke under Morales's foot. He slipped, but Lena and Miles grabbed his arms instantly. The Averan scientists gasped in unison. Valari whispered, Look how fast they act. No hesitation. Their instinct is to protect one another. Senra's hand shook slightly. And Morales did not even shout for help. He trusted they would catch him. Trust, Alessi said, is a survival tool for them. Inside the simulation, Morales inhaled deeply and smiled at his team. Thanks, he said. Lena nudged him. You'll owe us lunch later. Miles laughed. Outside, the scientists scribbled notes. They use humor, even in danger, Senra said. Why? To calm each other, Alessi answered. To maintain unity. When the humans finally reached the other side, the simulation faded. The scientists applauded softly. Averan applause was quiet, like wind chimes. Valari bowed. Your cooperation is extraordinary. Morales shrugged. Teamwork is normal for us. Normal, Valari repeated almost to herself. Amazing. Simulation 2. The Trust Corridor. The second simulation began immediately. This time, the humans stood in a long, dark corridor. A soft voice echoed, One human will lead. The others must follow with eyes closed. Miles sighed. Why are these always nightmares? But they chose Lena to lead. She was the calmest. And the simulation instructed Morales and Miles to close their eyes. Outside, the scientists watched emotional lines glowing across their screens. They could see the humans' stress levels rising, but staying controlled. Trust flowed between them like a measurable signal. Lena guided them with soft instructions. Step left. Good. There's a drop on your right. Careful. There's something blocking the floor. Morales, slow down. You're walking like a tank. Morales snorted. Sorry. Valari observed the readings. Their internal emotional patterns sync when they trust. Their hearts even stabilize, Senra whispered. This is not biology. It is unity. Elisi's eyes widened. Humans can align their emotions like shared frequencies. This could explain their battle morale in historic wars. Inside the simulation, a sudden rumbling sound echoed. The floor shook. Morales' eyes almost snapped open. "Don't look!" Lena shouted. "Just follow my voice!" He forced himself to obey. Together, step by step, they crossed the corridor. When the simulation ended, the Avaran scientists stood in awe. Valari approached them. "Your species chooses trust even in uncertainty." Miles nodded. "That's how we survive." Senra looked at the readings. "Your brain signals changed. When Lena guided you, your stress lowered. You trusted her completely." Morales chuckled. "Of course we did. She knows what she's doing." This simple statement caused a ripple of surprise among the Avarine. "You trust based on experience," Ilesi murmured. "Not hierarchy, not obligation, but earned respect." Valari stepped back, astonished. If other species learned this, war across the galaxy could decrease by 50%. Simulation 3. The Story Circle. For the final test, the simulation shifted into a warm campfire-like setting. A circle of stones glowed softly around them. "This is unusual," Lena said. "Humans bond through shared storytelling," Valari explained from outside. "Please tell us something meaningful." The humans exchanged glances. Miles spoke first. "I'll tell one." He told a simple memory of being a kid on Earth, building rockets out of cardboard, dreaming of the stars. Lena added a memory about helping her brother during tough times. Morales shared a story about a moment he nearly gave up in military training, but didn't, because someone believed in him. As they spoke, the orb readings outside glowed stronger and stronger. Senra's voice trembled. "Their stories connect them even more." "It strengthens emotional threads," Ilesi said. "Look at the readings. They're forming a shared identity." Valari watched with quiet awe. This is why they survive destruction. This is why their civilizations rebuild so fast. "Stories are humanity's glue," Lena said inside the simulation. "And even when different individuals speak," Morales added, "the group feels stronger." Miles smiled. "It's simple, really. Humans tell stories so no one feels alone." The room filled with quiet. Even the scientists remained silent for a full minute. The discovery. When the simulation ended, the Avaran scientists gathered in a tight circle, whispering quickly, urgently. Finally, Valari stepped forward. "Humans," she said softly, "you have changed our understanding of life." Morales blinked. "We have?" "Yes," Valari said, her voice firm. "Your emotional abilities are not weaknesses. They are not primitive instincts. They are a form of power." Ilesi showed them the readings. "Unity increases your problem-solving. Trust increases your physical control. Stories strengthen your mental resilience." Senra added, "Your bonds make you more adaptable than any species we have studied." Morales crossed his arms. "So what does this mean?" Valari met his gaze. "It means humanity is not just another species," she said. "You are something rare, something new, something the galaxy has never seen." The humans fell silent, and then Valari added words none of them expected. "We believe human emotional unity may be the next stage of evolutionary strength." Morales laughed softly in disbelief. "So, caring about each other makes us advanced?" "Yes," Senra said without hesitation. "More advanced than we ever imagined." A choice for the future. As the day ended, the Alien Council requested all research data. A debate would begin about how to respond to this discovery, how to update diplomacy, how to approach humanity. But one thing was certain: human emotional strength was no longer a curiosity. It was a force the galaxy would need to understand, or be changed by. And tomorrow, Part 4 would reveal the impact of this discovery. For the first time in decades, the Great Averin High Council called an emergency meeting that was not about war, politics, or resources. It was about humans. In the center of the council hall stood the three scientists, Dr. Villari, Dr. Senra, and Dr. Ilesi, holding their glowing research tablets. Around them sat dozens of Averin leaders with shimmering robes and crystal eyes, full of curiosity and confusion. Villari began the presentation with steady confidence. "Honored council members," she said, "we discovered something unexpected about the Terran species. Their strength is not in their bodies, not in their technology, not even in their intelligence." A quiet murmur rose from the audience. "Then where is it?" one council elder asked. Villari lifted her tablet. "It is here." She tapped the screen. A display appeared. Emotional wave patterns recorded from the humans during the simulations. The readings glowed bright gold, forming strong lines between the individuals. Senra continued. "Humans form emotional bonds that create unity and resilience. These bonds influence their decisions, their actions, and even their physiology." Ilesi added, "No other known species demonstrates emotional synchronization with such intensity. It gives them unpredictable potential." The council hall fell totally silent. Every leader understood what that meant. Humans weren't weak. Humans weren't chaotic. Humans were dangerous, not because they fought, but because they stood together. "This," said one council member hesitantly, "changes the balance of power in the galaxy." Villari bowed her head. "Yes, and it changes the way we must treat them." Back at the Terran embassy, Captain Rafael Morales was pacing across the embassy conference room. Lena Park and Dr. Jonah Miles sat at the table, watching him wear grooves into the floor. "They called for an emergency council session," Morales said. "We've been waiting 3 hours. What do you think they're planning?" Lena shrugged. "Hopefully something good." Miles laughed weakly. "Or they're trying to decide if humans are magical emotional monsters." Morales stopped pacing. "Jonah, that's not helpful." Before either could say more, a soft chime echoed. The door slid open and Dr. Villari entered with graceful steps. "Captain Morales," she said, bowing slightly, "the council requests your presence." Morales exchanged a look with the others. "All of us?" "Yes," Villari confirmed. "This concerns more than science now. It concerns the future." The council deliberates. The humans walked into the great hall with careful steps. Every Averin in the room turned to look at them. Miles whispered, "Why do I feel like a school kid being called to the principal's office?" "Because you are," Lena whispered back. Morales elbowed him lightly. "Behave!" The council elder at the center raised a hand. "Humans, we have studied your behavior, your emotional patterns, and your cultural rituals. What we learned surprised us." Morales straightened. "We're happy to answer questions." "That is not necessary," the elder said. "We reached conclusions." Lena tensed. Morales felt his stomach tighten. Then the elder continued. "Humans possess a rare form of unity. It strengthens your entire species. We believe this makes you potential leaders, or potential threats." Miles blinked. "Leaders?" "Yes," another council member said. "Your emotional cohesion allows you to accomplish feats no other species can. It allows you to survive worlds that would destroy others. It allows you to rebuild empires from ruins." Morales felt a heavy weight settling on him. "So what do you want from us?" Villari stepped forward. "We want to learn. We want to understand how your bonds work. We want to shape our society to be stronger, like yours." The humans exchanged stunned looks. "You want to learn from us?" Lena asked softly. "Yes," Villari said. "We want to understand friendship, trust, cooperation, and emotional balance." The council elder lifted a shimmering tablet. We propose the creation of a joint institute, the Human Averance Center for Emotional Studies. Morales blinked. You want a research center? To study feelings? Yes, Senra said proudly. And you will guide us. For a long moment, the humans were speechless. Then Miles muttered, We're going to be teachers. Of emotional bonding? Lena laughed softly. That's a first. Morales rubbed his temples. I didn't think our feelings were this interesting. Valari stepped closer, her crystal blue eyes warm and sincere. You must understand, she said. Our species lost emotional depth long ago. Efficiency replaced connection. Logic replaced instinct. We never realized what we lost until we met you. Morales hesitated. Are you sure this is safe? Changing your culture is big. Valari nodded. Yes. We believe emotional development will push our civilization forward, not backward. The council elder lifted a glowing crest. Captain Morales, will humans join us in this mission? Morales looked at his team. They were stunned, but proud. He turned to the council. We accept. The first lesson. 2 weeks later, the new institute opened. Humans and Averans gathered in a large hall decorated with banners from both species. The room was filled with scientists, diplomats, students, and observers. Morales, Lena, and Miles stood at the front like unplanned teachers on the first day of school. Lena spoke first. Welcome, everyone. Today we begin something new. A place where humans and Averans learn from one another. Senra raised an elegant hand. What is our first lesson? Lena smiled. Something simple. She walked to a board and wrote one word. Connection. Human life is built on connections, she said. We trust, we help, we support, we argue, we forgive. These bonds make us stronger. Valari raised her hand. So what should we do today? Miles stepped forward. Today, we talk, we share stories, we learn each other's names, we listen. Senra blinked. That's it? That is the lesson? Miles grinned. Yes, humans grow connection through small steps, not big ones. Morales watched the room carefully. Some Averans looked shy, others looked eager. Slowly they began speaking to each other, then to the humans. Averran scientists asked questions. Humans answered. Humans asked questions. Averans answered. Soon, laughter filled the hall. The mood orb from the earlier tests glowed brighter than ever before. Ilesi stared at the readings. This is remarkable. Emotional exchange is spreading across the room like warm light. And this, Lena said, is the human way. Valari looked at Morales with a gentle smile. Thank you. For what? Morales asked. For showing us how to feel, she said. A new future begins. As days passed, the institute grew. Averran students learned teamwork strategies. Human volunteers taught emotional communication. Researchers from both species created new models for diplomacy based on trust rather than fear. Something remarkable happened. Averran society began to shift. Teams cooperated more. Workers formed friendship circles. Families began experimenting with emotional closeness instead of pure efficiency. Even the architecture of the station changed. More community spaces, more places for gathering, more areas meant for connection, not just logic. And always, the humans were there, guiding, helping, laughing, sharing. One evening, as Morales stood on the large balcony of Lyrash Prime, he watched the glowing lights of the station flicker like stars. Lena joined him. Hard to believe, she said softly. We changed an entire species. Morales nodded. Hard to believe they let us. Miles walked up behind them with a grin. Guess that makes us emotional ambassadors. Morales snorted. The weirdest title in the galaxy. But deep inside, he felt proud. Humans had come to space feeling small, surrounded by advanced civilizations, mighty empires, and ancient species. But in the end, humanity's strength wasn't advanced technology, wasn't brute force, wasn't intelligence. It was something simple, something quiet, something powerful. They cared, and the galaxy had finally realized the truth. Humanity's heart was its greatest weapon. The Averins didn't fear it. They wanted to learn from it. A new age of cooperation began, one powered not by war, but by connection. As the lights of the station reflected in Morales' eyes, he smiled. "Not bad for a species that hugs too much," he said. Lena laughed. "Not bad at all." Together they watched the stars, knowing the future would never be the same.